When you start actually paying attention to what's happening around you, what you start to realize is the universe speaks to you in metaphors. In other words, you'll see license plates and they'll have meaning to you, or the name of a boat, because everybody has to name their boat, or they'll see a golf course or a hiking trail or a ski downhill, right? All these things have names and meanings, and you correlate with things in your life, and it's actually giving you a message. So the universe will find a way to talk to you through nature or through the universe to guide you through life with these deeper meanings. And the Bible was no different. The Bible spoke to us in metaphors. Now, I get it. People want to argue, did Jesus really walk on water? Did Moses separate the Red Sea? Did Moses make the Ten Commandments, or were they actually delivered from God? Did Jesus turn water into wine, right? Did any of these things truthfully happen? And nobody was there, so they don't really know. But what I can tell you is that the Bible speaks in metaphors. The burning bush had a meaning. What it was telling everyone is that it was a promise. It was a promise to everyone that there would be peace on this earth at some time. If you look at Jesus, who walked on water, whether he did or not, it meant that he was divine, that he overcame obstacles. So when I'm saying that he overcame obstacles, he had blinders on. So when doubting Thomas came along and was like, didn't happen. Jesus is like, talk to the hand. I am just on my mission. That's it. I don't have time for doubters. I have influence. You want to listen to me? I have teachings from God, and so do you. And that's the damn truth right there, is that you are a light being manifest in a physical matter. So if you pay attention to what I've been saying, is that light in the Big Bang moved matter in a way that it transformed our earth, or our matter here. It transformed it and formed this massive structure with an electromagnetic field around it that through the photoelectric effect changes the electrons that move through it, through the wavelength and through the amplitude, that transformed our bodies from prokaryotic life to eukaryotic life, that allowed us to be able to utilize oxygen in the environment. And so creation versus evolution, it's all semantics. It all happened. And it's all the divine spark of light of life. So when we look at a particle accelerator, and when scientists studied atoms and they shot them down a particle accelerator, they wanted to find out what happens, and they had different pockets to send these atoms through. And what they realized is that where they thought the atom was going to go, that's where it went. So as they were shot down that particle accelerator, if they thought it was going to go to the left hole, that's where it went. If it thought it was going to the right, that's where it went. And that's explaining to us that we have more control over our outside world than society has deemed you to believe. Society has you believing that to have importance, you must participate in consumerism. You must be knowledgeable, be aware of the news. While many of these things, due to the ego, have a lot of meaning, they don't mean a hill of beans. And the funny thing is when you disconnect from outcomes, the outcome you desire just automatically happens to you. When I talk about financial wealth, and where the Bible speaks of a rich man has a tough time getting into heaven, it is easier to thread the eye of a needle or thread the camel through an eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to make his way into heaven. When I say that, what its meaning is that you're too focused on the external factors. You're too focused in the ego. You're never going to find the divinity. You're never going to find happiness because it came from within. It's the inner game. It is not the it is in what you see. It is being and realizing you already have it, having the emotion in the experience as if it's already happened, and then watch the opportunity show your way. The doors just open, one after the other. And it's about being in flow state. So when Jesus walked on water, he was in a flow state, oblivious to the world around him and what they told him, and the programming of the doubters like Thomas, who said, no, I don't believe in these divine feats. right? I don't believe you're the Son of God when every man is the Son of God, because you're made from light, and your matter and your mass that feels so real is held together by an electromagnetic charge, and your thoughts are the charge. And what's amazing is you are the anointed one. Every person is the anointed one until that little demon in their head suppresses it from the social norms and programming from the institutions of the churches and schools and governments. So the deal is, the anointed one is the fact that you have this cerebral spinal fluid. It's the Kundalini energy, and it's your lymphatic system, and it's pumped, and it goes everywhere throughout your body. It doesn't just stay in the spinal cord. And it basically starts at the base, and it's pumped, and the pituitary pumps it, and it moves it up, the cerebral spinal fluid, up over the pineal gland and back down. And so when you're sleeping, that cerebral spinal fluid is circulating, it's pumping, and what it's actually doing is it's washing over your brain, and it's clearing out misfolded proteins. But when you're in a derp state and you're sad and depressed and feel like you don't have control, and you get protein misfolding, and you get dementia, Alzheimer's, neurological diseases, because you can't clear out the proteins because you never believed in the power that's within you. The stem cells are actually produced in your freaking body with sun. All you ever had to do is activate the sulfation and convert your hydrogen sulfide into sodium sulfate, but you need sunlight to do that. And the kidney meridian in Chinese medicine, that meridian specifically deals with fear, dread, doom. So when you're afraid and you have fear that things won't work out, and you feel doomed that your life is going to suck, or you're never going to meet somebody that's going to love you, and you're going to be taken advantage of, all these negative thought patterns are actually suppressing the energy flow through that kidney meridian that controls your red blood cells in the bone marrow, right? So the bone marrow not only controls oxygen metabolism and red blood cells in your hemoglobin, it also controls the stem cell production. So by changing your thoughts and beliefs, you produce more stem cells. You never had to take out your fat and draw out the stem cells to redistribute them. All you ever had to do was change the way you view the world, to change the particles so they went down the different path, the accelerator. That was all you ever had to do. But you're looking for external factors to change your life. You're looking for the person that's going to bring you to the success. You're looking for the person that's going to make you feel complete and whole. You're thinking that buying a Lamborghini is going to make you valuable. Well, all that shit deteriorates anyway. And the only thing that matters is your soul, and the beliefs are there, but you don't want to worry about developing your soul and growing as an individual. That's hard. You want to stay in the derp state and just change the outside world around you so you can stay suppressed. Stop the bullshit, right? You have to become the person, right? You have to work on self-development skills. You have to work on communication. You have to work on going out in public and actually putting out a message. You have to actually have a skill set to give, to offer. And once you have all these things, you don't even need anybody else in your life. You just exist. And then people show up and you have these amazing relationships, but you didn't really want them, but you get them because it's about your energy. It's not about the things. It's about you as an individual and the belief systems that you hold in the subconscious mind. Becoming completely aware, deactivating the reticular activation system so that you don't have your blinders on anymore, and you can observe being the I am, not the it is, in a shitty situation you think that you're in. When that can transform in a minute, as soon as you realize you control the matter around you with your thoughts, because the atoms move down the particle accelerator where you think they're going to move. So there's all these synchronicities, how nature talks to us. And your health is just a reflection of that. It's a mirror to how you feel internally. It's a guidance system, and that's why you can look at it and say thank you. And you can forgive others, not caring what they did, not approving of what they did, but not caring, right? Because you know that it's going to improve your dopamine levels by forgiving them. And then Jesus said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know what they do, and they have no clue because they're living in survival and ego because they don't feel like there's enough or they're not enough." It doesn't matter how other people live their lives. The only thing that matters is how you respond. How other people treat you is their path, but how you react is yours. You have blinders on, you walk on water, you are holy, you are divine. It's metaphorical. It doesn't have to be literal. You can perform divine feats. You can be like the monks who can imprint their hand in the rock and transform the matter around them, because they can manipulate the light that's emitted on their body, because the thoughts they know change the magnetic field that's slowing the time clock and the wave of energy that's moving outside of them that transforms the matter and forms it. And this is the whole debate that's so ridiculous on whether things happen in the Bible or not. They're metaphorical. I don't think a lot of them even happen. I think they're metaphorical. But it's the truth of the matter is that it is how the universe works. And it started in Genesis 1 where it said, let there be light. So light is a magnetic field. And it transforms matter. And you have light that's emitted from your hormones, from your neurotransmitters, from your cells, from all the proteins. Your proteins in your body are semiconductors of light. They're carbon-based semiconductors, more complex than any computer that is silicone-based. So you walk on water. And as soon as you decide to own that, that's when your life begins to change. That's when other people listen to you, because you see the value in yourself, so others will see it. And when I continually, every video, tell you, as you change the way you view the world review changes, that's how. So when things aren't working out, it's time to go inward, not point the finger. Because when you point the finger, there's often two fingers pointing back. And so it's about radical responsibility. And it's about having reckless faith and knowing that power that's within you. And I suggest reading books about physics, and reading about Robert O. Becker's book and Andrew Marino's book and Gerald Pollack's book on the physics of how our universe works. And then you can start to read books, and you can implement certain psychological psychologists like Freud if you want. You can read some of the Stoics books, right? My favorite Stoic was Epictetus, right? And so you have to realize, he said, you want to surround yourself with people who will uplift you and people who support you. For that, God has entrusted me with myself. So you don't need anybody else. All you need is you and your soul, and the other people are just these little angels and demons around you trying to put you in a different box or a different direction, right? You don't have to watch the news and then take on the entities that they're trying to instill in your mind that keep you suppressed and not want to speak up, because you think that you're going to get killed by society if you deviate from the norm that they're telling you is norm, or whatever Hollywood tells you is norm. If you deviate from that, you're going to be an outcast and nobody's going to like you. Well, that's because you're programmed to believe that. Being eccentric actually makes you stand out. Just because you're let's say this. Just because you are a minority and people believe that minorities steal and minorities are lowlives, or whatever the silly belief system is, why don't you be? That's actually an advantage, because you're different, because you live in integrity and honesty. So because you do that, they're not expecting that. And so guess what happens? Because they weren't expecting it, you were the thing they didn't expect, you stand out. You're different, right? It's like guys who go out and they wear fancy clothes and they have to look all fugazi with these pointy shoes and colorful jackets, right? They're peacocking. They're trying to be different and stand out, right? And what you notice is because they don't care and they look stupid, other people don't care and they actually like them. But it made them stand out. It got them the attention. And that attention got them to the destination that they were trying to do and fulfill their ego. But it actually worked, right? And then they come to the realization that they get the thing that they thought they were getting from the peacocking. And then it's like, oh, shit, I'm still not really happy internally. And, well, shit. And then hopefully one day they come to the realization that it was actually them the entire time. And it was just the clothes and the fugazi look that was a band-aid to getting them the things that they want. You never really had to have those things. And so there's a difference, right? There's a difference between wearing the clothes and to make yourself a certain way and just being the same way. But there's also a difference in being in a derp state and watching sports to escape because you hate your life, or watching sports because you appreciate the art form and the effort that went in with the athlete practicing hundreds of hours to become elite, right? Playing video games because you really think that it's amazing versus my life sucked today, I'm stressed out, let me just veg out and play this video game because I don't have to think about my miserable life. or escaping it through drugs or alcohol. None of those things ever had exist because you're holy and you walk on water, as in the metaphor in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It all boils down to the metaphor and paying attention to what is occurring in the universe and what messages is nature giving you.